thing I want to say, and it's very obvious, is that this isn't a society that's very good at solving social problems. And it's not because we can't solve them, but it's because we choose not to do so. We choose not to do so. Because basically, this is a culture that is about doing things that make money for those who are already the most well-off in this culture and society. And organizations like Josh's and so many others that we see around the city and the country are really sort of maintenance organizations. They try to maintain, after people of power, do things that totally disrupt governmental service that exists for one reason. Why does the government exist? To serve people. But if you are somewhat of a news junkie as I am, and you paid attention to the news this morning, you know our new president has proposed all kinds of cuts to almost every social service initiative coming out of the federal government that there is. And what is he proposing? To strengthen the military, which makes absolutely no sense, considering that the budget of the U.S. military is larger than the next 8th largest countries in the world. Okay, and what is he doing? He's tearing apart the State Department. So it's no longer diplomacy, which acknowledges and recognizes the humanity of every individual living on this planet. And what is he advocating? We'll intimidate. We'll go back to the gun vote diplomacy of era gone by. So what do? I think we need to begin to think big. Building on what I said now about organizations being maintenance, all kinds of organizations, we don't intervene as much as we deal with the crisis after it has occurred. So I think we need to think about how we begin to do things that impact on the societal level. I think we need a new service, social service model in this country, okay? And that gets at prevention rather than treatment. And when I say prevention, I mean things like mass organizing of people. For a couple of years now, I've been advocating, and I'm a registered Democrat, so whatever that means. I think rather than spending money on campaigns, billions of dollars on the campaign, what if the Democratic Party would really take those billions of dollars it spends every year on campaigning and pay people full-time jobs to organize communities? You know what I mean? Go out and get people to spend their job is organizing voters. Another thing they could do is continuously, year-round, voter education programs. As Bill said, I retired from Northern Kentucky University, and I had a platform on which I could try to educate students coming out of Northern Kentucky University about this culture and this society. And I always said to them, and I'll say it again, I'd ask them this question: you have to tell me why you vote for Mitch McConnell. You have to explain that. And ask yourself, because in the last election, remember, this man stood up and told you you deserve a livable wage. And he was going to oppose health care in your interest on your behalf. So you see, that's the level at which we must begin to think about attacking these problems at an institutional and structural level. Now, what are some specific things that I had on my list? Like I said, they're not in addition to what Josh had. He covered them in so many ways. But I tell you, I am very fearful right now about health care and what is going on in our country. Because these politicians have these think tanks who sit around and think about manipulating the thinking of voters. That's what they do. I mean, they sit around, that's what they do. Like, I used to tell students, you walk around the city and you see a 10-story building. You figure every story above the first 2 floors are peopled by individuals whose sole job is to think about how they can get as much money from everybody as they possibly can while returning as little as possible to these people. That's why bank buildings were so powerful. What did they do? So how do you combat that? So we don't have a problem that's related to individuals, to groups, to communities, individual cities. We have structural, institutionalized problems that are societal in nature. And it's a culture where the force and the power is rooted in people whose only interest is in how to make money. So that's what we're up against. And how do we deal with it? So health care, transportation. I was upset by the city continually giving these tax exemptions to people who buy $1 million condominiums, and to companies who get a tax abatement for 15 years for building a new operating facility in the city. The idea being that they're going to generate more jobs, and therefore the city is going to benefit from the tax that these jobs will lead to. Listen to this. People who invest in these kinds of economic opportunities also know how to avoid taxes. They're not paying any taxes. They know every tax loophole there is. And what better example that we have of this than our current president, who tells you, I don't pay any taxes. Well, that means I'm smart. The people who buy these $1 million condominiums know every tax loophole in the book. So again, what do we do? Regional cooperation. We know we need to do that. We need to do that. Josh has already mentioned poverty. What can you say? We see everywhere in the world where there are pockets of poverty. They're not there accidentally. They're there as a result of decisions people make in policy-making bodies. Poverty is intentional. We've got to understand that. Healthcare denial is intentional. We've got to understand that. So how do we begin a process? And I'm going on longer than I intended. But how do we begin to address in a meaningful way and in a manner that will be effective what I call the dismantling of unjust social structures? I don't talk about the American criminal justice system anymore. I talk about the American injustice system, because that's what it is. I'll stop.